This is in response to SkogKniv's The Axe is Back video. I'd just like to talk about some axes that I have and that I use very often, and they're pretty much my favourite things that I own. The first one here is a mustard axe. This is made in Norway. Most folks would probably recognise mustard from making their fish hooks. Most people have used mustard fish hooks in the past. This would have to be my favourite axe. The length is ideal for me. I've got big long monkey arms. It's about 26 inch, and as you can see it fits nicely under my armpit to the ends of my fingers. So it's a very nice little axe. Now, I made the face myself because it didn't come with one. Now, as you can see from this one here, I've actually reprofiled this one. It's my favourite axe because it's got a hard, high carbon bit welded into it. Now, I've experimented with this axe very often, and I ground the bit too thin and I chipped it, and that nearly gave me brain damage because I love this axe so much. But a few repairs to it and it's back to cutting frozen wood without any problems. The handle, it's not hickory. My guess would be that it's a beech handle, but it does really well. I've had no problems with this handle. I've had it fitted for going on to 2 years now and haven't had any issues at all. Like I said, this here is my favourite axe without a doubt, and it would be the one that I would pack most often just because I'm so familiar with it, and it's just got such a nice weight to it, and you can even choke it up close and do close cutting if you need to. The next axe that I have is it was actually a project of mine when I was really getting into reprofiling hatchets. I bought a braids hatchet from eBay in the UK, and it had a really thick bit, and it just used to bind in everything. So I thought, oh, this is a really good candidate to do some reprofiling. Now, the handle was so old, you could probably tell just from the sheath just how old this axe is. Just from the style of it, the leather was so dry it was cracking. I had to oil it. The axe was mint. It had never been used before, and as such the handle was completely dry. So as much as I tried to tighten it, there was just no point. So I just fitted a fairly cheap handle to it with good grain alignment, and it's been perfect ever since. But this here is a lovely little hatchet. It does really, really well. It had like I said, had a very, very thick bit, but I did some reprofiling to it, and you can see that the bit is ideal now. It's quite light, but it really punches above its weight because the profile is so good. I use this a lot when I do carving for spoons and things like that, because it's just, the edge is quite flat, so it's very, very decent for doing sort of carpentry and shaving wood away. And I find that this is an ideal size to have control. It balances really well. If you see I hold it here, it sits completely flat, and the handle balances really, really well with the head, which means that when I choke it up here, it's not going to be handle heavy. It's perfectly balanced, so for carving it's a really nice little hatchet. I do have more axes and hatchets, but these are my favourite. They're the ones that I use the most, and they're the ones I'm most familiar with. Now, the next thing that I just want to speak about very, very briefly is that the axe is back, and it's very, very popular, and as such I would also strongly encourage people to become more safety conscious when they're using their axes. The problem is a lot of people use an axe and they don't give much thought to what can happen. An axe moving at high speeds, and when it misses the wood or bounces off, can dig in quite deep into your leg and cut through things that you don't want to cut through. So it's a very important thing. If you're using an axe, you beef up your first aid kit. I have my first aid kit in an easy to open bag where everything that I need to stop heavy bleeding and disinfect things, and then wrap gauze around an injury and then strap it up, is very easy to access. Whenever I use the axe, this is only 2 paces away. If I'm cutting a tree, this is 2 paces away from me, so that if something stupid does happen, then I've got this, I can patch myself up, and I can also pull a mobile phone out of my pocket and call for help. I don't care how skilled you are with an axe, at some point you're going to make a mistake and either hit yourself with the blunt end of the axe by accident in the leg, in which case it really hurts, or with the sharp end, in which case it probably hurts less as soon as it happens, but in the long run it's a much worse injury. So the axe is back. Enjoy your axes, but also remember to be safety conscious and think ahead before you do something stupid. Make sure nobody's around you when you start using it, and if you're inexperienced, read up on it, practice safely, and it's a great skill to have, but just make sure you go about things the right way. This is Sam the Dog's video on the axe is back, a response to SkogKniv's video. Thanks guys.